Hi, this is Hannah. This is my second journal entry. So first, after completing the assessment, I did some questions here. So the first question is, why is it important to complete a readiness assessment prior to starting an exercise program? Well, it's always important to complete a readiness assessment prior to starting that program because physical activity, either as a whole or even just components or certain types of physical activities, may not be healthy for all individuals. So particularly if you have certain types of injuries, if you experience shortness of breath or maybe chest pain while you exercise, then actual physical activity could be detrimental to your health. So you have to be careful before you engage in that. And that's where typically if you experience those symptoms, you really ought to consult a doctor before you engage in it. It also is important to assess your beginning fitness level for three reasons, I think. It helps you gain clarity on where you can improve by knowing where you start. It also helps you understand what types of exercises might be best for you, and it will help you measure your progress. So I know for me personally that seeing progress is probably the biggest form of motivation when I exercise. If I see myself losing weight or I feel like I'm getting stronger, then I'm more likely to actually continue with that exercise program. So after completing the assessment activity for this week, these are my results. It took me just under 17 minutes to walk that 1 mile briskly, and I measured my heart rate after at about 130 beats per minute. That put me in the average bracket for my age group, which would be the 20 to 29-year-old women. I have to say I was actually not unhappy with these results. I actually mentioned in my last journal entry that I tend to have a perception of myself that I'm much more out of shape than I actually end up finding myself to be. So this is particularly encouraging since I don't feel that I am very far from that sort of optimum health standard. So, however, even though I'm not displeased with those results, there definitely are ways that I can improve the results. One of those is just performing this exercise activity more. So I actually have a great neighborhood for walking, lots of trails. So I really ought to be taking advantage of those on a more regular basis so that I can build up cardiovascular stamina. The second way that I can improve my results is by incorporating more stretching. So I've always known that it helps to improve flexibility, but I also know that it helps with the impact of exercise. And I'm not super great about fitting in enough time for that before and after I work out, so I often find that my muscles feel extremely tight or even painful. So I know I need to incorporate that better, and this was actually a great way to do that since it was sort of incorporated into the assessment. And then the final way that is a major thing for me in terms of improving my results is actually quitting smoking. I'm currently a smoker, but my boyfriend and I are working to cut down and ultimately cut out cigarette smoking. So I know that that's going to not only improve my ability to do assessments like this, but, it's just a plethora of things that will be improved in my life health-wise when I can quit. The question, how does the lifestyle factor of physical fitness affect overall health and wellness? I think that one of the most significant ways physical fitness helps in overall wellness is not only helping to prevent disease and illness, but also with mental illness specifically. The chemicals that are released during exercise definitely help with positive mood, and I have personally experienced depression at various points in my life. And exercise is a great way that I can sort of feel accomplished. It motivates me, it makes me feel active, particularly in those times when I might otherwise be particularly sedentary because of that depression. So overall, I've been pretty pleased with both my results in week 1 and 2. As I mentioned before, I kind of suspected that I was going to have poor nutrition and that I thought I was going to be in the below average bracket for my age group for this week. And it turned out in both cases I'm at about average. So even though that means there's definitely more I can improve on, it does make me feel like achieving that sort of highest level of wellness is much more achievable. So that's a good thing. And overall, it's already been made really clear so far in my experience throughout this class and other classes with Ashford that all those dimensions of wellness are interconnected. They all affect each other. But I think for me personally, the physical dimension is most closely related to the emotional dimension for some of the reasons I mentioned before. It does have proven factors for promoting positive mood. And personally, it's a great way for me to relieve stress. And I often find some of the things that maybe I bring home from work, or even things with school that I'm stressed about, working out actually relieves some of that stress and makes those things feel less daunting and more manageable. So I'm really working, I think this class is a great way for me to incorporate that exercise, something that maybe I haven't been so great about in recent months. It's kind of a nice way to incorporate that into my daily responsibilities or my weekly responsibilities. I'm still working on a schedule for myself, but I do feel like I'm moving in the right direction. So that I feel positive about. All right, thank you.